Hello everyone and welcome back to the FPL Engine YouTube channel. Now in today's video I'm going to be talking you through how my Game Week 26 has gone so far, which if you couldn't tell by the massive rank drop and red arrow, not very well, and also my transfer plans ahead of FPL Game Week 27. So taking a look at the team, I think I've done quite a lot wrong. There's things I could have done right, there's so many options that I could have gone with this week, and to be honest, it's looking like I've just picked the wrong one. And I knew I probably would pick the wrong one. This is Timber or Rice. I'm on about here, go triple defense or Rice. And I knew Timber was riskier, but I thought, if I'm going to gain rank at all, triple defense is the way to do it. I think Timber's literally been more attacking than Rice recently. I think in these next two games, he's due a haul. He's definitely due a haul. So even after this, I'm very happy owning him. I think he's due a haul, but Rice outscoring him, I mean, you saw it coming, to be honest. You did see it coming, but hopefully, and I'm just hoping he can go and get something against Wolves because that would be absolutely brilliant. Obviously, I have the triple armband activated, so Gabriel, please, you must. I don't know why it says 2 there. That should say 9. He's on 9 points currently for me. Really, really not ideal, to be honest. 9 point. I mean, to be totally honest, that is he probably should have been sent off, so that is pretty dreadful. Raya and Timber with a combined 4 points, which I've literally been outscored by Rice. So if I just went Rice, I'd probably still have Chow now as well, so I'd probably have another 11 points. So it's basically all gone wrong, to be honest, because Rice and Chow would have got me how many points? At 16 points. Elliot Anderson and Timber have so far got me 7. So, Timber's going to have to do something massive in this next game, and I just don't think he will, unfortunately. But going forward, I think the team looks decent. Elliot Anderson is one positive because for 5.3 mil, he will just get you points. He will just tick along nicely. He's hitting DEFCON every single week. And if he can get a few bonus, get a clean sheet point, it's even better. Because, saying he outscored someone like a Morgan Rogers, he outscored most people, didn't he? He outscored Bruno Fernandes, nearly the same as Brian Mbeumo, who, by the way, I'm very happy to own. Thank God he got that assist because I've only really had 2 returns this week, and it's HAALAND goal, but he was subbed off at half time, and a Brian Mbeumo assist. Because, Elliot Anderson got DEFCON. Would you really count that as a return? Probably not. But, 5 points, you happily take it. But, yeah, overall, it's been another awful week. And, this time 2 weeks ago, I found myself pushing inside the top 2k, I think I was sat at around 1.9k. I had a red arrow of about 12 points last week, sent me all the way down to 4.8k, and then now just a giant red arrow, and we're nearly outside the top 10k. And it's really disappointing because, the position I was in, and the position I can still get to, but it does feel like I've just completely wasted an opportunity there to push on. But I know a lot of other people have had pretty poor game weeks this week, so I don't want to take it too like that my decision making was terrible, because I think I've made good decisions this week. I've made logical decisions. Looking at all of the data, I went Timber over Rice for a reason, and that's that. I just thought, Arsenal are the best defence in the league. Timber's due a haul. It seems like the logical move, and so far it's just not worked. Gabriel captain again. It's just not worked so far, unfortunately, but hopefully Gabriel can pull it back. Hopefully he can get at least a clean sheet for me, because I think that could take me too near a green arrow if Arsenal keep a clean sheet. So I am praying that Wolves just don't concede, because I really, really need that clean sheet. I was really wanting one versus Brentford, just because if they got that clean sheet versus Brentford, then at least I know I've banked some points. At least I know I can relax a bit for Wolves, but unfortunately they didn't. Timber at the end should have got an assist, should have scored, but it was really, really bad. My worry now is a Timber benching, and that would be dreadful. That would be honestly awful. But I do think in the coming weeks, will I want to keep triple defense? I don't know. If I was going to sell one of them, it would be David Raya, though. Maybe down. Well, I'll talk about who I'm going to sell him to in a minute. But the team looks good on paper, but it just is not performing. So we really, really do need that to change. So getting into my Game Week 27 team selection, as I said, again, it looks really, really nice on paper. I'm not seeing any issues here. Maybe with Tottenham, they might get a manager bounce. So do I really want triple defence versus Tottenham? I don't know. David Raya could be going out this week, but it does just feel like a bit of a waste of a transfer in a time where I do really need to sell them. So, to be honest, most likely I'm just going to roll the transfer. I want to get Mukiele into the team because that Fulham at home fixture seems really, really nice. Now, this brings me back to the point of where I probably shouldn't have gone Timber, because if I had Declan Rice right now, you'd be able to play Mukiele and have Declan Rice in the same team, and there'd be no issue with Elliot Anderson. But Elliot Anderson is just such consistent points. I feel like I just want to bank 4 points, you know, and he could get something on top of that. Liverpool defence has been shaky, so to be honest, I would just like to play Elliot Anderson, but benching Mukiele when I mean, I know they're not playing brilliant right now, but Fulham at home is a good fixture, and to bench Mukiele for that just feels wrong. And I think that could come back to bite me once again with another terrible benching mistake. Will I play Anderson or Mukiele by deadline? It's another massive 50-50, like Mukiele Rice was. Everything was just telling me go Mukiele. Everything, not Mukiele, sorry, not Mukiele Rice. Timber Rice. Everything was telling me go Timber. You know, Timber's the good idea. He's gonna haul. And it's just not happened so far. So, we're going to have to hope it happens versus Wolves. We're going to have to hope Rice blanks, because if Rice goes big versus Wolves, that's going to be very, very embarrassing for me. But yeah, this week, Elliot Anderson, Mukiele, another 50-50. And you just don't know, because Elliot Anderson could come away last time he played Liverpool, he got 9 points at Anfield. So imagine he comes away with 9 points and he's on my bench for Mukiele, who loses the clean sheet. You just don't know. Elliot Anderson could get a yellow card and not even hit DEFCON. So it's a real 50-50. The armband is only on Bruno Fernandes right now, just because of the Haaland doubt. By the time this video comes out, you will know if Haaland is in the squad for Salford City. And to be honest, if he's not in the squad, I wouldn't take that as, he's injured, just because it's Salford City. They really don't need Haaland. It's a time to bring some youth academy players in, give them a run out. Obviously, they've got to be careful not to lose, but obviously Pep's not going to play his best 11. He's got the games quickly now, quick coming, so he's just got to be careful of injuries and stuff. And this is the perfect time to rest a lot of his team. So if Haaland's not in the squad, I wouldn't get too scared about it. If Haaland is out, striker options are limited at the moment. Maybe there is a case to go Mohamed Salah, but that's a whole nother situation. That's a whole nother talk we need to have. Is Mohamed Salah really worth it when you've got someone like Florian Wirtz there? Probably not, to be fair. It's sort of a case of just spending the money at that point. And to be fair, he could be a captaincy option in the next few weeks. Will I personally go for him? Probably not. Just hope Haaland's not injured, I guess, but if he is, the captaincy armband will most likely be on Bruno Fernandes with the visor on Igor Thiago. Do I think Haaland? I think Haaland will be fine. I do think he'll be fine. I do think he'll be fine, because there was quite a big break in between the last game and this game, so I think he'll be alright. But if he's not, then I will talk through what I will do in my transfer plans. Okay, so taking a look at my transfer plans now, I just want to mention a few weeks ago, I think it was when Chelsea were about to play West Ham, I can't remember who Arsenal had. I had the exact money to do Saka down to Rice, and I can't remember who. It might have been Foden or someone up to Palmer. And I tell you what, my God, I wish I did that now. I do really, really wish I did that, because the amount of points that I would have gained overall from that, Saka stinking up the gaff every week, getting benched. I would have had Rice for that whole run, even though he didn't do much more. He outscored Saka. And I understand Enzo outscored Palmer for... Actually, he barely did, because Palmer scored versus West Ham. Then Palmer got benched, but then after that he scored a hat-trick. And then he scored again and got an assist. So it is annoying, man. It is really, really annoying that I've gone the way I did, and I never went for the punt. And it just feels like it's not been going my way in the past few weeks. I mean, when I finally do go for the punt, and again, you can't say too much on it yet. I did go for Timber over Rice, but so far Rice has outscored him. There's no way to justify that. So it's not been going my way at all. Chalobah's been pretty terrible. But then again, has anyone been better than him? So not really much complaints. There are a 3-pointer, a 4-pointer, and a 3-pointer. But when you look at the games they've had, it's just not ideal, is it really? It's really, really not ideal. And just knowing how much I've messed up, and I don't even want to look at how many points I have lost on that, because I know if I just did that Saka to Rice and I can't remember who it was, but someone up to Palmer, I would be in a much better position right now. Let's say that. Would I have a Brian and Burmo though? I guess you could argue he wouldn't be there, but I mean, is he that good? Is he that good of an FPL asset? I hope he is because, to be honest, what swayed me to go Brian and Burmo over Morgan Rogers is it. To be totally honest, it was a bit of red tinted glasses. It was a bit of being a Man United fan because I was thinking, I can't keep watching these games, celebrating Brian and Burmo goals, and then looking on my FPL and realizing he's done me in again. So that had to stop right there. And I do think he's a good asset. I mean, we saw this week he outscored most people with literally 6 points. So, I mean, I think I've got a role this week. There's definitely a case to play like this. And to be fair, I think I could end up lining up like this, but four at the back never seems too ideal. Again, there's a world where Raya goes. Who would that be for? 99% Kelleher, to be honest. I think the fixtures coming up for Brentford, I'm probably going to want some Brentford in. He is just the safest defender for them. So that is, I mean, that's an option, isn't it, really? Because Tottenham away, Chelsea home, not great for Arsenal. Another thing we need to talk about, Erling Haaland. What do I do if Erling Haaland is injured? Now, I think for me, I can easily bench him this week if it's a week-long injury. I've got a benching headache. I would be perfectly fine with Mukiele coming into that starting 11, us just moving on and bringing him back into the team the next week. But if it's bad, if Haaland is out, what do we do? Again, even if it's bad, we could bench him this week, but I'll lose a lot of money on it, that's for sure. I will lose a lot of money on Haaland being benched. What we could do, now, we could just go to João Pedro. Hope he returns this week, but that is such a 1 week punt. Does that seem like a bit of a waste of transfer? Kind of. However, does he have a decent fixture in 31? Everton away? Yes. So that's always an option. Just go to João Pedro. That team looks even nicer for this week. Also, going to João Pedro, we have 7.1 in the bank. Now, why that would be good is because we then could put Freddie Potts up to a Morgan Rogers, up to basically anyone, to be honest. I mean, you've got 11. I mean, you could get Palmer if you want. Obviously, I'm not going to do because it's too late to get Palmer now. But you can literally put him up to anyone. If I did want to go down the route of going for Mohamed Salah, what we could do, we should, if I'm right, be able to, yeah, we can do Enzo to Mohamed Salah. And to be fair, looking at that money in there, I mean, it's not even like you need a Krupa. You could have a Calvert-Lewin. You could have someone a bit higher, really, couldn't you? I don't think I'm going to do that. I think Mohamed Salah's past it. I think he's past his best. I think I want Florian Wirtz. I think Harry Wilson and Florian Wirtz would be nice. I mean, you could get them again. No hardly get them both in very, very easily without any challenge. You can even get a Morgan Rogers in. I mean, if we actually just look at a draft quickly, I'll just quickly make one without Haaland. The only thing I don't like about it though is you get giddy, you get all this money, and then you spread it around, but then you get benching headaches every week, and you bench someone. So that's the only part about it that's just not ideal. But apart from that, I mean, the team looks really, really nice. So yeah, there's all sorts of possibilities if Haaland is out. To be honest, I need to roll transfers. I used three last week. I've only got one now, but my team did need that. It needed surgery. I mean, I wanted to keep Harry Wilson, but Elliot Anderson looked like better value, especially for that Wolves game, which again I was right. It only just outscored to be by 3 points, but Elliot Anderson's a nice long-term hold. There is a way where I mean Enzo can go down to Harry Wilson next week, and that could be one transfer. I mean, it is hard. It is really hard. We could, I mean, we could roll this week, do Chalobah down to someone like Hill, and then do Enzo up to Verts, but that means you're not getting Harry Wilson for that really, really nice run of fixtures. So, sorry, not Wilson. You're not getting. There we go. Put Florian Wirtz in. Yeah, you're not getting Wilson for that really nice run of fixtures, but is Wirtz going to outscore him, or am I getting too tempted by the price tag? I do think that is something to think about sometimes in FPL because Elliot Anderson most weeks is better than someone like a Declan Rice. But if you got Pau in front of you, Elliot Anderson for 5.3 or Declan Rice for 7 point, however much he is now, 7.6, I think, you'd probably just take Declan Rice. But if they were both 7 mil, I think you'd take Elliot Anderson. So, you know, price tag can deceive you sometimes. But yeah, that is it for now. As always, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. And I will be back with you next week for another video.